Hi, this is Keiko of Brooklyn Shoe Space. This is Shoe Talks Quarantine Edition. Today we're going to be inviting Dana of D Perotti Boots. She's up in Texas. I only saw her kind of semi-live in person when the Texas Folk Life did like a Facebook Live in the beginning, like maybe late March or April. During the quarantine, talking to the up-and-coming leather workers, and she was one of the participants in the panel. And otherwise, I've just been following her on Instagram through all the other shoemakers, and also when I went to the last maker house in UK, she was also on their account as well. So I feel like there's been occasional crossovers. It's just that I haven't met her in person yet. Well, she's here now, so I am going to call her in. It says waiting. Let's see. Hi.
Hi, Keiko. It's
How
nice to
are you?
meet you.
Good to meet you, sort of in person. Thanks for
Absolutely.
coming on with me. How are you quarantining? How long has it been?
So Texas, well, Austin, I think went into quarantine around the 24th of March,
Mm-hmm.
and the state's been opening back up.
Yeah.
So it's starting to feel a little more normal.
Okay.
Shop's still closed,
Yeah.
but yeah, we've been able to get outside a bit and hike and
Yeah.
a bit of swimming. So that's been
Nice.
cool.
That
Yeah.
is nice. Have you been able to make while this is happening, like at home?
I recently did a few wallets, but I haven't done any boots. No, I haven't done any boots.
Yeah, let me tell me your setup. Is it like the boots is specifically you kind of make at Texas Traditions Boots kind of location, or is it like at home you have a little bit of a setup for like leather work?
Yeah, I do have a setup at home. So all of us at the shop, we're kind of uh, so we do all the work for the shop at the shop, and I've been there about 3 years.
Mm,
Um, and but we all have equipment at home too. So I have a sewing machine at home, and that was really helpful, especially at the beginning, to be able to practice at
mm-hmm.
home for stitching, fancy
Yeah,
stitching.
yeah,
Definitely a lot of time in at home trying to
yeah.
get that down.
Nice,
So we all have a little setup at home. We all have 3115 sewing heads,
nice.
and I have a cutting head, which is what we use to cut out all our inlay. So yeah, we all have little at-home mini setups too, but we make the boots at the shop.
Yeah, yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you started. And you said you were working with Lee for about 3 years. And I've seen you like take different courses. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, so I've been down here with Lee since January of 2017 is when I started at the shop. Before that, I was fortunate to get an apprenticeship with him through Texas Folk Life,
Mm,
which is the organization that we did that chapter.
talk. Yeah,
So they're really great. So that's how I first got linked up with Lee. I reached out to him to ask him if he would be interested to do that with me, and he was very kind to say yes. So that's where I
that's
met Lee.
great.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Were you one of the first ones, like as an apprentice?
Through that program, yeah, that was the first time. But no, uh, he's had many people there. So he and Carlin, they bought the shop in 1986, and they've had people from all over the world working there throughout the
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm. That is so generous of him, right? I think it's amazing that he shares his knowledge. Yeah, and then tell us after that was 3 years ago? No, longer than that. I don't know the timeline when you apprenticed with him
Yeah,
through the
so
program. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I had reached out to Lee and we had set that up. So that was in the summer of 2016 that I
Mm-hmm.
did that with Lee. And before that, I was fortunate to be able to work with Amara at Penland. I was her studio assistant, and of course, she taught in pegged sole shoes. So that
Mm-hmm.
was really fun, and I learned a lot from Amara too. I think I was like 2 weeks there.
Uh-huh. Nice.
Uh,
So hold on a second. Murphy, I'm on the live right now. Who are you looking for? Go and ask Yuri. I don't know. Sorry.
that's cool.
3-year-old. No, not 3. He's not 3. He's 5. Our
Oh,
friend across the neighbor is looking for my son, and he's thirsty. Sorry.
aw.
He wanted to come in. So you with Amara? Oh, that's so great. So you went up to see her in Minnesota?
No, she
No.
taught a course at Penland.
Oh, Penland. Okay, sorry.
To be
Okay,
her
okay.
studio assistant. I had always
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go there, so that was a pretty fun journey.
Yeah.
And yeah, so she did a 2 week course there. So I was that was the first time I met her, and she's really great. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed
Yeah.
learning her and working with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still have the shoes that you made there?
I do somewhere. I do, yeah.
What
I'm
kind of shoes were they?
So I had started the pattern before I went to the course. She was teaching, what was she doing? She was doing like derbies and Oxfords. So I had done a derby lace-up boot. I mean, it's pretty clunky looking back at it, but that's how you learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have boxes of first samples.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then after that, like you also did last making workshop. That was maybe a couple of years, 2 years ago, is it? Or a year ago?
Yeah, so through the city of Austin, I was able to get a grant to go do that course with Dominic and
Sorry.
Steven.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great. That was really fun. Um, they're so cool. They're both really great, and
Yeah.
it was pretty special to get to spend those 4 days with them. And I met some other really cool people there in the course as well. So Felix, who we did
Hmm.
the chat with,
Yeah.
he was in my course, so that was fun to get to meet him,
Yeah.
have that connection. So when Raul and I, my partner, we went to London for a visit, we went and visited Felix's workshop.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
cool to meet people
Yes.
and see what they're doing and keep those connections going.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, me too. I actually went to his workshop in
Oh,
London. Yeah, after the workshop.
nice.
Yeah, it is so nice.
Mhm. Yeah, and it was really cool. Dominic was so sweet because he had known about Texas traditions as a young man, and he had in mind to maybe his dream was to come to Texas and make boots. So he was
Nice.
so sweet and really he invited me out to have dinner with him and his wife one night. So that was really cool to get to hang out with him and get to know him a little better as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Nice, nice. Oh, cool. So, have you made shoes on the last that you made?
No, no. I actually didn't finish my last 100%.
Oh,
I know.
okay. What happened, or what kind of last did you make?
Well, I wanted a really pointy toe.
Okay.
I was pretty like, I had my heart set on that. So the block that I started with was 4 sizes bigger than the shoe, and I think they said like 3 to 4 sizes. So mine started out pretty big, and I have a really narrow foot, anyways.
You had a
But
lot to carve.
yeah, I just spent a lot of time with that rasp, just rasping and rasping. It got close, but I don't think that I would make shoes on them. I would probably look at them to make a new last,
Hmm.
to look at some of the techniques that they taught us about, the proportions in the back and the sides. But I don't know that I'm super happy with like how the cones turned out, and I think that's
Oh,
important. I mean, that's
okay.
just me learning, so I would want to really go back and do more
Did you
study, I guess, of.
did you have a specific well, so toe shape is pointy. What's the specific thing about the cone that you didn't like? What were you trying to make, kind of like a cowboy boot last, or?
I think in the course, I guess I was kind of unclear about where the cone's supposed to originate from. So does it originate from the first joint? Does it come more from a different spot? So I would wanna do more probably. looking at some of the lasts that we use at the shop. If I were to, because what we do at the shop is we take a last. So we use, Lee has his own last, which he developed,
Uh-huh.
which is based on some Western last, but he really took it and altered it to what he found were
Yeah.
things this was doing repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
So I would really want to like use that as a starting point, and then from
Okay.
there, I think
Mm.
trying to do it out of your head
Uh-huh.
with not much experience, I feel like
Uh-huh.
that your results are maybe hurt. So I think it'd be cool if I were to set out and do that again with like a block of wood to really like have something right next to work off of.
Right.
Like how I would try it.
Cool. I would love to see. So when do you think you can reopen? What do you have like a kind of like a date when you can go back to the workshop?
There's no set date that Lee and Carlin have right now. Yeah, everything's so topsy-turvy right now. I think we're all
Yeah.
playing it all by ear.
Yeah. Are you working on like other than the wallet that you said you made? Like are you making any projects at home?
I have some stuff in mind that I would like to get started. Um, Before all this, I had kind of been thinking about doing a two-piece boot, which I'm still interested to do. I w- I'd love to do it in some gator, and I keep having my eye on like Amtan if they have any
Ye-
good deals coming
Yes.
up. But at the very, very moment, I don't have anything that I have started. It's all kind of
Right.
like still in my head.
Yeah, yeah. Is the alligator your favorite material to work with?
I love gator. Yeah, I think it's so cool. I think it's so special
Mm-hmm.
to just lay out the skins and see the actual animal. You can really see
Yeah.
the animal as it was, and the scales are so beautiful. And it's one of the few animals where I actually feel like pretty cool about, all right, like this animal would totally eat me if it could. So I don't feel too bad about cutting
Right.
into it. And
Right. And also, I guess it's from if it's from Amtan, you know where they're from, and like, yeah, it's
yeah.
pretty regulated. I love the boots that you made, the Chelsea boots.
Thank you. Yeah, those were fun to make. Those were really cool to make.
Yeah. What's your favorite boot to make? Like so you do a lot of Western boots, but like the Chelsea is that kind of like your thing, you think?
No, I wouldn't say that. I love just like a pull-on boot. Yeah, so something without laces, a Western boot. So it could be four-piece with the vamp counter and
Mm-hmm.
then the top panels. I haven't gotten to make a two-piece boot yet. I've made a three-piece boot, which is pretty fun to do. We do that at the shop, and I've done that on my own. That's challenging if you don't have the right sewing machine. So we sew that on.
Oh,
And so if you get, I have like little skinny legs, and if you do it too tall and you're a skinny leg, that's really hard to actually sew that back seam on. But
uh-huh.
machines that make that process a little easier. So that's something to look into. But yeah, I just love any pull-on boot. I think Chelsea boots are really cool just to be able to throw on quick and easy to wear.
Yeah.
And jodhpur boots too, which is challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah, that strap gets challenging to figure out
Yeah. Yeah.
the length and the angle to get the
Yeah.
strap back,
Yeah.
and even the crimping angle of the board is different than a cowboy boot. So that one's fun to do, but it's definitely challenging because it's outside of the Western boot that we
Right.
usually do.
Right. How many pairs do you usually work on in the shop together with the crew?
The way it works is usually we have a little whiteboard and we'll write out the boots that are coming up. So it can vary. It can vary from one person really doing stuff from start to finish. Lee does the last and then passes it over. He taught us how to make all the patterns. Some of the artwork. Charlotte's really good at doing the artwork. So some of the artwork Charlotte does. A lot of it is just in the archives. Like people love the history of Texas
Yeah.
traditions, and Charlie Dunn has so many iconic designs. So I think a lot
Uh-huh.
of people really want that in their
Mm-hmm.
boots. So a lot of the stuff comes from the archives of
Uh-huh.
things that Charlie designed, like the name boot. That's a Charlie
Uh-huh.
Dunn original. People might
Uh-huh.
the roses, a lot of the stitch patterns.
Uh-huh.
Charlie Dunn designed some of them, and some of them are more just like classic vintage patterns.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool, cool. And then who does the outsole stitching? And also Lee?
Um, Lee does a lot of it. Graham's gotten pretty good at it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I've done it on my own boots, and I think I did it on one pair. It might have been a repair job though with a new welt, but it wasn't a pointy toe. So that's something that personally I can put a little time to. Graham's gotten pretty good at it though.
Yeah.
Started out in repair, and he really got a lot of shots to go at it with those repair boots, which is a really cool way to go at it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's still for me. I mean, Amara has been saying like it's like a gentle giant, and I think Lisa Sorrell was also like, no, it's been great, you know. But for me, it's still like scary.
Yeah, Jim Brainerd in Colorado, he gave us all some really good advice. Just, keep it parallel to that little table.
Yeah,
Just it's just getting the feel for it, and
yeah,
you just really have to like push into it enough, not
yeah.
so much
Too
that you're
much.
breaking it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I have this little like trial boot that I made. And what I'll do sometimes is just put a new piece of leather around the forepart and
Mm-hmm.
just I'll make like a little fake well and
Mm-hmm.
try to go
Practice.
around it. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. What's your favorite tool, like hand tool and equipment?
Whoa. I don't know if I have one favorite tool. I knew you were going to ask that, so I definitely pulled out some stuff
Yeah, I would love to
to
see.
show off some like, let's see, some tool porn. So,
Ooh, you have so many pliers, lasting pincers. Oh,
yeah, so these ones are my favorites. This is a
they're
pair.
slightly different. Yeah.
Yeah, so these are 503s.
Uh-huh.
Um, these ones are really good for crimping. This is like the
Hmm.
biggest size. These ones are the 502s. I like these a
Hmm.
lot for lasting.
Okay.
Um, and then the shank pliers too. These are
Uh-huh.
for a cowboy boot.
Yeah.
You gotta have these.
Yes. Right.
Um,
Some people call it the bulldog pliers or
Bulldog, I've heard bulldog.
something.
Yeah, I've heard
The
we just
shank
call them shank lasting
pullers. Yeah.
pliers.
Yeah.
And we just put a little piece of leather between the plier and the boot just to protect the boot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then I've got these two pairs of little ones, which I like a lot. These ones I
Mm.
got from a bootmaker, Dan Hickman. I bought them off him, and I like them a lot. They're really narrow.
It's a
They're
little
great.
narrow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are really good for maybe when you're doing the heel of a boot or
Mm-hmm.
when you're doing toe boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I like these ones too for toe boxing.
Ooh.
When you don't need it so narrow, sometimes the really narrow one can kind of rip
Rip.
the toe
Yeah.
box
Mm.
if it's really thinly skived. So these ones are cool. I kind of like just go
Very
between the two of
cool.
those.
Yeah. Very
Um,
cool.
so yeah.
I saw on that video that you did on Facebook that you had this like funny little shape leather piece.
Oh yeah, yeah, I have that
That
too.
what is it again? Sorry, I would love to hear.
So yeah, I have that one right here. And this is just
So fascinating.
so you could put it in like the shank of the boot. So
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
um, you would just use it right in there when you put the sole on.
Oh,
So
I see, I
you
see.
put your sole on,
Yeah, yeah. So it's for
and
the
then
side wall. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Side of
yeah,
the outsole.
yeah, it
Ah,
just slicks it down really nice. It gives it like a nice little finish
yeah.
before
Oh,
you move on to ink and dye, well, sand and ink and dye and all that. But
very
yeah,
cool.
so and
Very cool.
this came from Roland in Germany, was an apprentice that Lee and Carlin had in the 90s. And his master in Germany had showed him this. So he made one for Lee. And yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
What other tools are you like? So the blasting pliers are your babies,
Yeah, those ones I feel like everybody like it's such a mission to find like
the one that fits
the
you.
cool ones. For sure, yeah. And they're so hard to find too, so it's so special when you do come across them. It's cool too when you know a little bit of like the history, like some tools I've gotten through Lee. So these ones came from a bootmaker in Washington named Richard Gelston.
Uh-huh.
I kind of like that part too of knowing who the tool came from,
Yeah.
a little
Did
bit
they
of
use it before you, or were they just selling it, or?
I wonder if he just had extra. I'm sure they weren't his personal pliers because I imagine he was still making boots when he passed these to Lee. But it is cool just to know like where they came
Came
from.
from? Yeah, true.
Um,
Totally.
yeah, one of my favorite hammers. I don't have it here. It's actually at the shop, but it's a really cool hammer. It's just from like the 70s probably. It's the same hammer that Lee got in his little kit when
Mm-hmm.
he was a bootmaking student
Mm-hmm.
in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a regular hammer with a plastic fiberglass handle,
Uh-huh.
but it's so great. It's just a
Huh.
really great hammer, and we all like really were trying to find one so hard, and we all finally like found them through our own means.
Oh, good.
But I like mine because the story behind it, it belonged to this guy who worked at the shop,
Uh-huh.
Paul Storelli, and there's just so many cool stories that come from the shop and learning about all of the different people who've been there and their stories.
Yeah.
To have that tool is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is. And I'm sure like they have a story too behind it. So it's like not just one generation. It might have like a lineage, you know?
Yeah, yeah, probably not so much with that hammer because it
No,
was
no.
from like the 70s, so
Okay.
he might have been the first dude to
First.
get it
Okay,
and
okay.
part of his kit or something. But yeah, some of the other stuff, who knows?
Yeah.
Like some of the pliers and knives, like
Yeah.
yeah.
What kind of knives do you use? Oh, yeah. Sorry if the questions might be overlapping with like your
No,
interview,
no,
but
I love talking about tools. That's so fun. So I have some of my knives laid out that I
ooh,
like.
you
So
have
these
so many. Do you use
um
them all?
yeah, definitely. So these
Wow.
three are like my go-tos.
Okay. Yeah.
This is a skiving knife,
Uh-huh.
and it's flat, which I really like.
Yeah.
I have like
Wow.
a
Mm-hmm.
curved one, but the
Mm-hmm.
flat one's awesome. This knife is cool. Lee and Carlin got them for us. It's just a Tina, and
Mm-hmm.
it's got this little poker at the end, which you can use for a lot of different
A lot of
things.
different things. Yeah. Great.
And the blade you can like pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
This is like my favorite knife. It's a Berg. It's
Mm.
super long,
Yeah.
but I just like how it fits in my hand
Yeah.
and that pulling. It's
Yeah.
like, like you find your knife and you're like, yeah, that's my knife.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everybody has a different favorite, you know? So this is
Yeah.
interesting to see. And that one's straight too, right? It's not curved.
This one has a slight
Oh,
curve.
slight curve. Okay. Oh,
Yeah. This
cool.
is my favorite. This one I use for like paper.
Uh-huh.
And this one actually, Amara had it and she was like, "Oh, that's the best knife ever." So I was like, I got it
Give it a
too.
try. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you use it a lot too,
Excuse me.
that one? No, no, it's okay.
Yeah, I like this one for skiving
Okay.
toolboxes and skiving heavy counters.
Mm.
Yeah, it's really great for that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So you carry all your tools in like a toolbox to bring with you to work, or
Yeah, yeah. So I have a
usually?
toolbox, and you kind of bring stuff back and forth, so you get used to working on something from home, or yeah, that's it's kind of the game, bringing everything back and forth. So sometimes
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah.
leather and all sorts of stuff.
Right. Do you get to stay later to like kind of work there to work on stuff, or do you usually bring it home and do some work at home if you're doing like your own projects?
Yeah, it's definitely been both. I mean,
Mm.
there's certainly some things like heel building that I don't have a sander at home, so that definitely I would do there.
Hmm.
But like top work I would do at home
At
if I
home.
were on my own. Yeah.
Oh, that's so great. Do you ever bring Lee's work back home, or is it you just do it there?
Yeah, no, most for
No,
the most part we do
do it
all the work there at the shop.
there. Oh, that's so great. Oh my goodness. Um, I would love to have a little tour, but I wanted to see your sewing machine. But I guess you already told us which one it was. But
Hmm.
yeah, do you think you can show us? Is it like double roller foot or it's not a
Yeah, I could show you. Let's see. So, uh, it's not a double roller. It's just a
mm,
roller foot.
yeah.
Excuse me. Okay, so um, let's see. So
Ooh.
it's a little backlit. It's just a Singer
Ooh.
3115.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Um,
It's really nice.
yeah, so that's the roller foot.
Yeah.
Um,
Wait, is it? Wait, camera's flipped, right? So it's the yeah.
I'm
No.
not sure how it's showing.
Oh
Um,
no, it's
is
not
it
flipped.
backwards?
Yeah, no, it is as is. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
the
like
wheels
getting
are on the left side.
uh-huh, yep.
Um,
Nice. Nice.
yeah. Yeah, for the fancy stitching, the roller foot's pretty important. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, and so this machine I actually got it was from a Polish grandma and she was set
What?
up. I just got it on Craigslist, but she was had it set up for fabric. And so yeah, it was a project to get it up and running.
Yeah.
I tinkered with it a bit. Lee tinkered with it a bit.
You change the motors and that kind of
No, the
thing.
motor
No.
was cool. I think it's just like it comes down to like timing stuff.
Mm, mm,
Especially, yeah, when you change out, so it didn't have a roller foot, so swapping out to a roller
right.
foot, it just everything has to be like so
Timed
precise.
right. Yeah.
I did some messing around also on the head at the back part, which I don't know that I ended up having to bring it to a machine guy to
Mechanic.
have him figure that out.
Right. Well, that's cool. That's cool that you have it. It helps to have it right by you, you know?
Totally.
What's your favorite shoe that you've ever made?
Hmm. Favorite. That's tough. I would say, I mean, personally, I love my little gator botinas. And I do love any project with gator. So one that comes to mind is a customer of Lee's. They brought in their own gator, and it was wild. So it's kind of fun because it's more of a challenge to map it out. Like mapping out the leather is really fun. You really
What do you mean wild? So was it not tanned or like I'm not no.
so like they hunted it themselves.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like a customer could hunt their own gator, and then
Yeah.
I think tan. I don't know if
Oh,
they're the
okay.
guys in town, but
Okay.
yeah, you could send it to a tannery and they'll tan it for you. But
Wow.
like the farm grave stuff is so pristine because they're not out in the wild getting scratched
Right.
up and
Right. Oh, interesting.
yeah. So that was a really fun pair to work on. Just for that challenge to have a limited amount of material and to really have to you have to make sure that you use the best part, but then you're limited by flaws in the skin, and then there's some that you just have to accept and accept as
Yeah.
beautiful. So that was really fun. I also really like certain pairs that we've done in the shop where everybody just comes together and it's this,
Mm,
so a
like
lot
a
of times
collaboration.
yeah, like a lot of times if there's a boot with like a really heavy inlay and maybe like a quick upcoming deadline, that could be really fun because it's like all hands on deck. So there'll just be hundreds of little pieces that need to be skived and everybody's just skiving and
Yeah.
assembling and sewing. And those can be really fun to work on.
In that kind of setting How quick can you turn around that kind of boot with everybody on deck?
Man, those inlay boots, there's so much work that goes into that. So, a pair that we did recently, Charlotte designed them, and it was based on this woman's scarf, but they were so intricate. The patterns, I think maybe it was like an Indian design, so there were all these different like layers to it. Like each little element had maybe like 5 or 6 pieces layered.
Wow.
Within that, there were pieces cut out. So I don't know if I had to think back on it. Maybe we spent like a week or so, maybe a little over a week,
Mm-hmm.
because once it's designed, you cut it out, and then we
Yeah.
we skive everything.
Yeah.
So when we cut out, we go ahead and skive the edge, which isn't a
Hand
big deal.
skiving?
We hand skive, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So those designs where you see like a ton of stuff happening,
Yeah.
there really is a lot happening.
Yeah. That is a
Um,
lot to do.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
But
but those are fun, and they just get passed between hands, and
mhm.
that's a really fun time. And just to see the final product and know that
Yeah.
everybody's
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I would love to see like everybody kind of in the shop one day to see how you guys kind of synchronize work together, you
Hmm.
know? Yeah. Oh man, I'm like, what if you have unlimited resources and the time in the world, what kind of shoes would you make? And for whom?
Wow. I think if I had unlimited resources and time, I would really, really like to devote time. Like I love, I love the craft aspect of it, but what really drew me to footwear is the foot, the
Yeah.
anatomy aspect.
Uh-huh.
So I would be really, really intrigued to do more explorations on the foot, especially the foot in motion.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think that's so interesting just to learn about what's going on. We
Right.
know we talk about like the basic like the joints and the arch and the instep, but like what's happening with the toes when you step forward and and different pressure points and how that relates to the ankle and different
Right.
flexions. So I'm super intrigued to learn more about that, and it'd be super
Yeah.
cool to be able to explore that more in a meaningful way.
Cool, cool.
And
I
then
was
how
gonna,
it translates to a last, how you
yeah,
that information straight off the foot and then stylize it into
right.
last.
There's so many ailments too, with feet. So I feel like that's like a totally kind of different, not can of worms, but what's the
Yeah.
right word? Yeah, like pet, what's it? Oh my goodness,
Yeah, like orthopedic
pedorthis
stuff.
or yeah, orthopedic
Yeah.
stuff and pedorthis license or what? Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know that I would go. I mean, that's definitely important too, but maybe just more like general observations
generally.
of
Mm,
of
mm-hmm,
like feet and how that would
mm,
apply
yeah,
to everybody, and let you
yeah,
do like some cool work with the last, like how you contour the bottom, and
yeah.
yeah, so that's my big interest.
Okay, cool. And would that be kind of like, well, I guess it's the last. Last comes first, so you guys, yeah. Um, do you also take on private clients too? Have people asked you, can you make me a pair of shoes?
Um, I mean, like sometimes people ask on Instagram and stuff, and I haven't really pursued that. Of course, for like family or friends, that kind of will come up. But at this very moment, no, I don't have my own personal clients. That is something that I would aspire to, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you make your own? Do you have time to make your own pairs? Like in a very like in a regular basis, sort of?
I mean, I think we'd all love to be able to make more
I
for ourselves.
know. Shoe.
Um,
I mean, yeah, no, everybody's really good at it. I'm the shoemaker with no shoes. I just like end up buying friends' shoes.
oh, that's cool. That's a good way to do it.
you know, yeah,
Yeah, I definitely would love to make way more for myself.
yeah,
But I think it's cool to what I like about making it for yourself is you can try different things, and especially with like the last, you can do things and see how it feels and then get that direct understanding of, okay, if I do this, this is how it feels, or
Right.
this is the outcome of it. So I think it is important to take some time to
To
do.
experiment a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Do you still have your first, not first pair, the pair that you made with Lee the first time when you
I
were
do.
apprenticing?
Yeah. Yeah. They're super simple. It's just, they're just brown, plain kangaroo tops.
Do you wear them?
I wear them when it's cold outside because I can fit in with like a thicker sock.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're great. They're comfy. It's just, kangaroo foot, kangaroo tops, so they're super light, and comfortable to wear.
Cool, cool. What are you wearing now? Do you have shoes on? No.
No, no, I'm just home. I never wear shoes at home. I
Yeah,
love
bare
it. I think it's great to flex your
flex
toes
your
and
toes. Yeah, no,
skate
absolutely.
into the ground.
Yeah, yeah,
Barefoot.
us too. Me too.
Yeah.
Barefoot. And then also you don't bring in dirt from outside, you know.
Well, I go barefoot outside too,
Oh,
so
you do? Oh, okay. Well, you know,
like
it's
in
a
the
little
yard and
different
stuff.
story. Yeah, that's a little different from going into town without a shoe, you know.
That's true, yeah.
Um, I saw on on Instagram somebody, maybe it was Charlotte, that she rides or and also um yeah, there's a few bikers, I feel like. Are you a biker as well?
I like bicycles. Yeah, Charlotte and Graham,
Yeah.
they're into motorcycles. I don't have any of that, but my kind of like preference is more being active outside. So that's my interest outside of the shop. I really like swimming and biking and running and
Hmm.
hiking. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm glad you're actually having a little bit of time to do that too during this break, you know. Do you bike to work?
No, I've never biked from my house to the shop. It's a bit far.
Oh, okay.
When I apprenticed with Lee that summer, though, I didn't have a car. So, but I was staying in a neighborhood that was easier to bike to. That was so fun. Like, I love biking, and Austin's a pretty cool place to. There's some good trails that you can get on to get
Mm-hmm.
around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. Super cool. What would you do differently after this quarantine? Do you feel like business would be different? Do you feel like what you're going to be doing would be different?
Hmm. I mean, just from having talked a little bit with Lee and Carlin, they're saying that they don't really feel much of a slowdown, that people are still reaching out to them with
Good.
interest to get measured, or curious about their position in line when their boots are coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this whole thing is just so uncertain, and
Yeah.
everybody's, we're all just kind of like,
Waiting.
we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. Where would you want to be in 3 to 5 years?
Wow. Yeah, that's a tough question. um I want to be doing footwear. I really appreciate the custom footwear and boots especially. I'm not super into like men's footwear. I think, the people who do it are super talented at it, and it looks amazing, but that's not for me. Western boots are super cool, and who knows, like it could be cool to explore maybe like athletic footwear
Mm.
in some way. I think just like being pretty drawn to like outdoor activities and those kind of more athletic things. It's something that I'd be curious to look into a bit.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, no, through doing these talks as well as like Instagram, just like browsing shoes, like the diverse, makers of different types of shoes. I've been kind of floored, you know, because some are like, the cycling shoes. There's some specific for each sport. There's some different types of sneakers, even like the designs are so different for each sport.
Hmm.
So I feel like it goes back to your like thinking about feet and actions and how they move and stuff. It's very, I feel like it's very specific sometimes.
Yeah,
So
and it's cool to see all the transformations that are happening in athletic, where all the different materials that are being
mhm.
used and designs, and what people are doing with that and how it's affecting athletic performance. So yeah, that's super interesting.
Yeah. But then, you might, I don't know, you might put in your Western boot design and also like traditions into these kind of shoes. You never know. I don't know.
We'll
But
see. Yeah, that's
yeah,
definitely the direction, but I don't have a super concrete answer, but that's definitely just the path to start heading down.
oh,
Yeah.
very cool. Very cool. Thank you so much for taking your time. I feel like I'm like skipping questions. I'm just checking. Um, because yeah, yeah, for like your Chelsea boots, was
Mhm.
that something that you did for yourself? And like, did you do it on off hours or did you just take time during work hours? How did you take the time to work on that one?
Yeah, so personal projects we do on our own time. We'll try to sneak it in maybe at lunch. We'll try to get some stuff done or stay late or take it home. So the Chelsea boot, that botina is a style that Lee does at the shop. And he usually covers the elastic and does like a straight top. So I had a little
Hmm.
bit of fun just tweaking it and looking at different designs that I found online just to make a little different silhouette. But yeah, that's definitely a boot that we do at the shop. Um,
Is it a different last than a cowboy boot last? It's a
no, it's the same last. Yeah, so this is my last that I made.
uh-huh.
Um, and yeah, so it's got that
Yep.
cowboy boot heel,
Yep.
nice and tucked in and thin.
Hmm.
And yeah, same lasts. Yeah, we do all Western lasts.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Right. Very cool. Very cool. I didn't know that you guys skype everything also by hand too. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a skiving machine that you can use for, if you're gonna skive like the bottom of the panel, but for all of that inlay work, that's all done by hand. Yeah.
Hand.
Hmm.
Wow. And
Yeah.
how is it with crocodile? Like, do you have to sky? What do you skive crocodile as well?
Yeah, totally. So yeah, if you're gonna do crocodile tops or alligator
Or
tops,
alligator? Sorry. Yeah, alligator.
or it could be crocodile too. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you're gonna do any sort of inlay or even just, at the tongue of the boot, that would get
Yeah.
by hand,
Yeah.
count cover. But yeah, the same thing. You would skive it all by hand and maybe just be a little bit careful. Sometimes where
Yeah.
those scales meet,
Mm-hmm.
you really have to be careful because if you hit it wrong, it could take out a little chunk where that's like overlaying a bit.
Right. Because the thicknesses are so different. Yeah, in different
Hmm.
spots. Cool. What were there any challenges for any of the shoes that you've ever made that you're like, oh my gosh, this is either a design or a style?
I think there's always a challenge. Everything. There's always something that pops up. So
Mm-mm.
that's part of it, I guess.
The learning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally learn and to grow and to figure it out. But yeah, I don't think there's ever been something where it's been like, oh, that was easy. Like, that went perfectly.
Right, right. Okay. No, thanks so much. I hope you can get back in there soon. Yeah, and I'll start seeing everybody's creations again, I love like how, yeah, you guys are as a team, working in there. So, yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, nice to
Yeah.
talk to you.
Yeah, good to see you. And yeah, like keep on the I love those yeah, personally I really really love those Chelsea boots.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. And the heel height is like almost about 2 inches, two and a half. Is it
The
that
heel height's an
tall?
inch and a half in the
Inch
back.
and a
Yeah,
half?
I
Mm-hmm.
like a lower heel. A lot of the times we'll do like an inch and three quarters at the back,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe an inch and seven eighths if someone
Mm-hmm.
wants a little more height. But yeah, I like something a little lower.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, it's so great. Thanks so much. I wish I can see some of your shoes, but I don't know. Do you have your Chelsea boots that you showed us a little bit of the sole part? Do you
Yeah.
have any cowboy boots that you? Oh, yes. Yes. I love it.
Yeah, these are cool. These are fun.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah,
It's
I've
really
got
cool.
some of my boots in the other room, but you know, the first pair, they're just brown. Uh, yeah,
Okay.
these are probably like the best ones I've done.
Yeah, it's really cool. You wear it all the time, yeah?
No, I only wear them when
No?
it's special. No way. Like, yeah, these are like special occasion boots.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
What
I need
about
a pair out of like rough out or something.
what about to work? What do you wear?
So I have a pair of boots that they're just like rough out ropers
Okay.
that I made when so that was the first pair I made when I started at the shop working. Yeah, I like them. They're cool. They just have like a little roper heel and it's this nice French calf with the rough outside. It's a pretty cool color. It's kind of like this school bus yellow tan.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
like them.
That's like your shop shoes almost.
Yeah, you
And
gotta wear something you don't mind to mess up, you know.
mm,
There's all the inks and dyes and
right.
yeah, you gotta be able to have something you're okay to spill
Now
on.
on. Right, right. I
Yeah.
see, I see. All right. Well, once you're back in the shop, I really hope to see everybody's face, like your face on Lee's feed as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's too.
Yeah. I'm gonna see him, I think, next week.
Oh,
So
good. Yeah, that'll be good. You'll love
yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing about his shop and everything. So yeah, no, thanks so much. I'll
Yeah,
see you very soon.
cool.
And good luck. Maybe make a new set of lasts. That would be kind of interesting to see. I want to see what you're gonna do next. So yeah, thanks
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, nice to talk to you. Thanks for
Nice
having
talking to you. All right, bye.
me. Bye.